for the very first time, wherever you are across the U.S. and wherever you are around the globe, thank you for allowing us to come into your viewing environment. I'm Pastor Pope, Senior Pastor of New Life Christian Center, located at 400 Hillcrest Avenue in Wilmington, Delaware, 19809. We are located on the corner of Hillcrest and Marsh Road in Wilmington, Delaware. There is parking on Hillcrest. We are the brown brick building located right on the corner of Hillcrest and Marsh Road. Service begins every Sunday at 10 a.m. If you're in our area, come and worship with us. We invite you to come and experience a better quality of life. And if you're not in our area, you can tune in for the Sunday sermon at 10:45 a.m. every Sunday at 10:45 a.m. at New Life Christian Center. And I want to say to all of our listeners and viewers, of course, we broadcast 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and on RadioFreeNetwork.com. You click on radio and the drop box will appear. You click on New Life and every broadcast will appear. And we broadcast on Sundays also on RadioFreeNetwork.com. So we invite you to come, worship with us, or tune in on Sunday and experience a better quality of life. I want to say to all of our listeners and viewers who are joining us for the very first time, we're here every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, scheduling permitted, to discuss whatever topics you might like to discuss, whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. We are here because God is concerned about that which concerns you. So we are live in the FijiWater.com sponsored studio every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, right here in 3D, which is daily brought to you by Earth's finest water, Fiji Water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature, it is untouched by man? It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock, where the water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the blue cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is not just water, this is Fiji Water. And so we are live here in the FijiWater.com sponsored studio, and I want to say to all of our listeners and viewers who continue giving on the Give segment of our app at New Life-Delaware, and those of you who continue giving weekly and monthly on the contribution page of our websites at New Life Ministries International.com and New Life International CDC.com. We thank you for your support and for your commitment as we fulfill our commitment to God to be right here for you in the FijiWater.com sponsored studio, Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, scheduling permitted. And so I want to say to one of our listeners and viewers who sent in a communication that you are attempting to mentor a young woman who does not want to take instruction. She prefers to conduct herself the way other young women are conducting themselves in today's society. You want to know what can you do to get her on point. Here's a very interesting issue in our society, and that is that society has taught, particularly, you're talking about a millennial, and has particularly taught the millennial generation, some of us boomers, but particularly the millennial generation. And I want to say this, I don't want anyone to get the impression that I do not have a lot of fondness for millennials. And millennials are truly the brightest generation that we've ever had. And that's because they have not only been educated, but they also have access to the global platform of the internet, which we didn't have when we were growing up. So all of what we are doing now, of those of us who are boomers, we are technology immigrants. We're learning to navigate the culture. We're learning to understand the language of technology, but millennials have grown up with it. And so they're truly the brightest generation that we have. The problem is that sometimes people get so smart, so intelligent that they outsmart themselves. And then in many cases, they try to outsmart God. When we know that that never works, that's not a recipe for success. But the problem is that she sees what society has to offer. You know, from the Christian faith, we call it the world. But she sees what society has to offer. She sees what society says is acceptable. You're not hurting anyone. Do whatever you want to do. It's perfectly acceptable. And what she doesn't realize is that trying to conduct herself as her peers is not going to allow her the advantage that you're trying to provide. So what the millennial generation, and I'm going to be doing some talks about this, the millennial mindset. What's happened is because they're so intelligent, because they're so bright, and because they have youth, so the future is before them, they have decided that they can do whatever they want as long as it's within the laws, and it has no effect on their ability to be successful. Well, you can become successful without maximizing your success, which means you put a limit on your success. You've limited your success because you can only fit in with your peers, people who find it acceptable for what you're doing. But the reality is that as much as the millennial generation is the brightest generation, the boomer generation is the wealthiest generation. It's very interesting, the dynamics of our society, but the reality is this happens every generation. So the generation before us, they were hardworking people who did the very best they could. Many of them, some of them had higher education, many of them didn't have higher education. What they did is they took jobs and they worked those jobs until they got the gold watch. And then the boomer generation came in, and more of us, a higher percentage of us, were able to go to seek higher education, and consequently, we got an education and began to build wealth. Now we're the wealthiest generation that the world has ever seen, the boomer generation. And then you have the millennials, who some of them have created some wealth, most of them innovators. But the rest of the generation is falling into the trap of pop culture, popular culture, and is falling into the trap of, it's okay, just do whatever you want to do. Do what you want to do now, live your best life now, don't worry about, or don't, I shouldn't even say worry, don't plan for building wealth for the future, just live for today. All of that has become part of the popular culture. And so you have a society now that only fits in with their peers. How do you get her on point? You've planted some seeds while attempting to mentor her. You need to continue planting those seeds as long as she continues to be mentored by you. Hopefully, some of the information that you share, some of the comments and statements that you make will shape her perception of how she can improve the quality of her life, how she can build a better quality of life. It's not to imply that you can't enjoy life. There are things you can do to enjoy life now, but your focus cannot be that every day is a day of pleasure, fun and pleasure. Because long term, they will limit their success. So I'm going to encourage you to continue planting the seed. You know, sometimes one person plants the seed, someone else may be required to water the seed, but God will get the increase. Now, it may be your job to plant and water, but you have to believe that God will get the increase. Someday, she's going to see that there's a better way to have a better quality of life. And what can you do to get her on point? I would recommend this, because as I was prayerful about this, God allowed me to see in that secret place of both of your lives. Everything that you shared with me in your communication is absolutely correct. So I would recommend that you expose her to different people. Don't just try to teach her by communication and, you know, of course, by the example you've been setting about work ethic and working effectively and efficiently. But now you're going to have to expose her to some additional people. You're going to have to put her in environments that are going to help her to see that there's a more effective way to experience a better quality of life. And it can't just be taking her to restaurants where she can just photograph food. It has to be something more significant, like, for example, a charity fundraiser. You know, start taking her to those events. Start taking her to events that are at museums. Start taking her to places that are going to give her additional exposure, that's going to lead to understanding success. Not, I've got a job that pays me just enough money so that I can go out and hang out with my friends. Because that's what's happening in the millennial mindset right now. The mindset right now is, I just need to make enough money to pay my bills and hang out with my friends on a continuous basis. But that's not leading to long-term success. That's not leading to maximizing our success. That's not leading to us to experience the fullness of God. So the way that you're going to be able to get her on point is by exposing her to successful people. People that are more interested in, you know, attending fundraisers for the benefit of others, for the benefit of mankind. Taking her to museums where, you know, we have a really amazing place right here in the Philadelphia area, and it's called the Barnes Foundation. Now, you're not in our area, so you wouldn't be able to take her to the Barnes Foundation, but you can find something in your area that's very similar to that type of environment, that type of activity, because the people that you may encounter there and the people that she's going to be around are cultured people. And being around those spirits will allow her to see that there's a better way to enjoy life, a better way to experience a better quality of life. And that's what we all should desire to accomplish every day, is that we enhance the quality of our lives, that we maximize our success, and that we really seek to experience the fullness of God in all of our lives. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will place you into our queue so that you can experience T-Mobile. You can become a T-Mobile customer and experience T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. And if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill. At T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you are going through some significant life changes. You want to know, how do you know what to expect and how do you adapt to the changes? So here's what's real important. You don't have to know what to expect. God just wants you to trust Him. And trust Him to bring you through all of these changes that are going on in your life right now. The changes that you're experiencing right now, God just wants you to trust Him. You want to know what to expect, but God has an expectation for you. And it's of good and not of evil, that you might experience and expect it in. So God has a specific plan already chartered for you, a specific course that He wants you to follow. Now, sometimes, listen, significant changes occur in our lives because of things we do ourselves. Sometimes that's the case. You're right now going through some things that you don't have any control over. And they are significant changes. They're life-changing. And what you have to do now is just keep putting your best foot forward. Keep pursuing the opportunities that God has in store for you. Take your mind off of the circumstances and keep your mind on trusting God. He'll bring you through this. Think about how far He's brought you to this point, to this day. He'll bring you through. He'll never leave you. He will never forsake you, nor will He fail you. So you've got to trust Him to bring you through. If you put your trust in Him, you can know that everything will be all right. Whatever God has appointed for your life, according to His will, shall come to pass. And for all of our listeners and viewers, sometimes when life-changing events occur, we find it difficult to trust that God knows exactly what He's doing, that God will bring you through, and that when you come out, you will be better than when you went in. There are moments that we find it difficult to accept that. There's moments when we find it difficult to understand. There's moments when you say to yourself, God, why me? But you have to know that you've been chosen for a purpose. Whatever that purpose is, God is going to do everything that He needs to do to bring that purpose to fruition in you. Now, we can resist God and we can miss the blessing, but when we surrender, we receive the blessing. So what I want to encourage you to do, and I want to encourage everyone who's listening to the broadcast today, let's trust God. Every step of the way, let's trust God. Let's know that whatever He's doing is always going to be better than what we can do. Let's just trust Him to do everything according to His way, His will, and according to the promises in His Word. And if we do that, I can assure you that everything is going to be better than what we could have possibly imagined or what we could have possibly done for ourselves. You know, I've often said that this is the greatest play ever performed, and it's the play of life. It's a script that's written by God before He formed the foundation of the earth. For each and every one of our lives, He's written a script. Now, all of the people who move in and out of your life have they have a role in this play. They have a role to play. And some people, like extras, come in and out for a reason. Some people come in and out for a season, they stay a little longer. And some people are there for the whole play, for a lifetime. All we have to do is trust God to orchestrate, to direct the play, and believe that anyone he brings in and he brings out, they were assigned to come in, they were written in the play, and they were written out of the play. And we have to be okay with that. Because sometimes we try to hold on to people too long. And then what God sometimes does is have to move them out, or has to remove us from the equation. In your case, because you're going through these life-changing moments, I want to encourage you to just trust in God, trust in the Lord. Lean not to your own understanding. In other words, don't try to understand what you should expect at this particular time. God will reveal to you exactly what he wants you to know. Now, how do you adapt to the changes? You just have to keep putting your best foot forward. Get up every day and do what you've been doing and keep putting your best foot forward. God will order your steps so that you can get to the place that he's appointed for your life. This segment of the broadcast has been brought to you by WarriorCustomGolf.com. Times have changed. There's no need to spend big money for great golf clubs. Warrior Custom Golf believes you should have the ultimate golf experience with quality golf clubs that do not break the bank. You can order golf clubs, great golf clubs, from WarriorCustomGolf.com. They will design and manufacture golf clubs according to your specifications at WarriorCustomGolf.com. And Charles Tyrwhitt, located in London, the UK. They also have stores in New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and at the King of Prussia Mall in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. So if you are in any of those areas, stop in at the retail stores. If you're not in any of those areas, you can order from Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com. Go in the search bar, type in the word golf, and you will see all of the golf attire that Charles Tyrwhitt has to offer for you to experience the ultimate golf experience. Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com. Both companies, WarriorCustomGolf.com and ctshirts.com, will ship and deliver to your front door in an appropriate period of time. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers. And speaking about golf, so you indicated in your communication that you decided in the month of June to take up the game of golf. And so you've joined a group of women who are playing golf at a club. And you know, I'm excited about that because I always love it when, you know, what we share has an impact on someone in some way that's going to improve the quality of their life. Now, however, you're developing a new group of friends. However, you say their lives make you feel inadequate. Now, here's what I need you to know before I go on any further. This is only your perception. They don't intend on making you feel inadequate. They're sharing with you about their lives because you're developing a friendship. But your life is just as good as theirs. And not that we compare lives to anyone else, but your quality of life, they know you belong there. Or you wouldn't be there taking up the game of golf, taking lessons and joining in while they're hitting on the range. And this is all good stuff. So you're developing new friends. And you're only looking at their lives and saying you feel inadequate. So now you want to know, how do you ensure that you maintain those friendships? Those friendships aren't going anywhere. You're developing friendships with people over the game of golf. And as long as you continue to show up, you're going to maintain those friendships. As long as you continue to show up. I have met people on the golf course that I still communicate with today. And the reason, for years, and the reason is because we have something in common. You have gone to take lessons. You have, and by the way, that's a great way to get some exercise. But you started taking lessons in the month of June. You are developing friendships. And these friendships are going to lead to something much greater. I'm going to tell you that right now. God, allow me to see in that secret place of your life that it's going to lead to something much greater in your career. So this is what golf gives us the opportunity to do, to network at a level that we never networked before. But the idea is you're having fun, you're getting some exercise, you're meeting new quality people, you're meeting people who are doing something positive with their lives, and they're enjoying a game that has traditionally not allowed everyone to participate, because it's a very expensive sport, but at the same time we just did not feel we belonged there. We weren't raised in an environment that we had golf courses or country clubs, golf clubs available to us. But now we do. So to God be the glory that you're taking advantage of this and developing a group of new friends. Don't allow yourself to feel inadequate. They're not making you feel inadequate. They're surrounding you with their friendship and eventually their love, because you're doing what they do, and you are really building relationships that will last as long as you continue to play the game of golf. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers. I think I might be able to get through this, but if I don't complete this today, I will address it at another time, but I think I can make it. We're running out of time, but I think I can make it through this. You now understand the importance of and significance of getting your life in order. However, you have no idea where to begin. How do you get your life in order when it has been a mess? Okay. I probably should have waited on this one, but I want to say this. Very basic, focus on getting your professional life in order, focus on getting your personal life in order. Start doing things differently than you've always done them. The reason you feel like your life has been a mess is because traditionally you've done things the wrong way, thinking it's the right way to do them, and so many of us have. But now that you understand that you need to get it, it's important and significant to get your life in order. And you're young enough to be able to do that. You're at 39, you're able to do that now. So let's focus on getting your career in order. Start doing things that are going to lead to your success in your career. Focus on your personal life. Start doing things differently. You're almost 40. And now you realize the importance and the significance of getting your life in order. So I'm going to probably touch on this again at some point. But as always, today's Daily Divine Direction broadcast is brought to you by Fiji Water. A taste of paradise will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money. at FijiWater.com. May God bless you today. May God keep his face turned towards you. May God give you peace that surpasses all understanding. Have a great day today. Remember, we will be live for the Sunday sermon. We will be, as always, in-house at New Life Christian Center, 400 Hillcrest Avenue in Wilmington, Delaware, at the corner of Hillcrest and Marsh Road, 19809. Service begins at 10 a.m. Come and experience a better quality of life. If you're not in our area, you can still have that quality of life by tuning in at 10:45 a.m. on Sunday morning at New Life Christian Center for the Sunday sermon.